Welcome to episode 2 of me making an arcade game website in JavaScript and Node.js. In this episode I added in Snake. Snake is a classic game where you play as a snake and the snake chases fruit. And every time that snake eats, it gets longer. And if the snake bumps into itself or any walls, then the game is over. It's pretty straightforward and it's heaps of fun to make, even though it is pretty simple. I have made it before and it has been made many times on YouTube before, but there's still a few pitfalls that some people might run into, and that's what I'm going to be sharing in this episode. If you want to play the game, the link is in the description. Play it out, give it a go, see what you find. Maybe you'll find a game-breaking bug and you can help me out. I will be adding a lot more in the future, like high scores and such, so that you can compete with your friends if you want. So I started off the project by setting up the infrastructure needed to actually render the game to the user. Basically, I want to make this scalable so that if I want to add more games in the future, it's really simple and I don't have to repeat anything. That's the biggest pet peeve of mine, is having to repeat many tasks over and over again. I created a new file that is used as a template for all of the games for the website, and added a games folder so that any TypeScript files in there will be easily accessible, and I can even share code between games. For example, the vector class is shareable between all my games because I think it'll be a very prominent and useful tool in some of the other games like Tetris, for example. The reason for using TypeScript might be slightly unclear, so I'll just quickly go over that. TypeScript, it feels more structured to me. I mean, I really don't know why you would prefer JavaScript over TypeScript. It's the same thing. Basically, TypeScript just has more stuff in it. It's more controllable, I guess, because of the types themselves. But I won't go into it too much. Basically, the TypeScript code is compiled into one single JavaScript file, which is then rendered on the game page itself, which means I don't have to add a bunch of links for every single new file that I create, such as vectors and stuff like that. Every game also has a manifest.json file, which basically has information in it about the game, like the name, how it should be displayed, and in the future it'll contain information such as high scores, is a multiplayer, stuff like that. But that's for the future. The initial Snake game didn't take too long to set up, like the rendering capability of it. I used an HTML canvas with the image context rendering capability that it has to basically draw squares onto the screen. Later on, I upgraded this to use curved squares to make it a little bit more interesting, but the main functionality of the game was developed pretty quickly. Basically, there's an update loop, and the update loop calls itself once it's done, so that the game is always running. The player is basically represented by a series of positions on the game board, I guess you would call it, and each one of those positions is a single cell. So anytime that the player moves, we just have to add a new piece at the start of the array with its new position. Removing the last tile of the snake is also important, because otherwise you'll get something like this, where the snake just infinitely multiplies. I want to add fading animations, fading in and out of the game, and a more interesting looking UI maybe, so that there's an actual pause button for people who don't know how to pause with the spacebar, or they might not think about it, etc. I might even remove pausing altogether because it might be considered cheating. The code readability is kind of crap at the moment. I might fix that up in the future video as well to make the code more reusable for other games. Next episode I'm going to be moving to a new domain, most likely. I already have one in mind and it's not too expensive, so I'd rather find a domain that's actually relevant to the website that I'm making. I'm not sure what I think about the overall graphic design of the website in its current stage. It's a little bit bland, especially since I'm using default bootstrap colors for some of the site. But yeah, that's basically it. Let me know what you think of the game and maybe what other games you want to see me make. I have a couple ideas. I want to do Tron multiplayer, hopefully, if I can figure out a way to do so, and Tetris. Not really sure what other games I'd want to make after that, but let me know and I'll keep your suggestion in mind. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really interested in what you think of my little project endeavor so far, and if you're new here, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot and gives me motivation to make more videos like this. So yeah, peace.